Hi five, so today's fluency is on Purple Mash. You've got some multiplication, a little game to do, so feel free to go and do that now, or you can do that before you start today's task. First of all, I'm going to go through yesterday's challenge. So Dexter had a box that he measured in centimetres and millimetres. To the nearest centimetre, it was 28, but we wanted to know what was the smallest possible it could be. So actually on your number line you needed three numbers, 27, 28 and 29. These are the whole centimetres. Now we wanted the smallest possible, so it could actually have been smaller than 28. So you had to think about what would be the smallest number that could have to be rounded up to 28. And we know that that would be 27.5 to be rounded up to 28. Okay, we're starting off today by thinking about percentages. So that's where you see this symbol here, and it actually means per 100. And you can kind of see that, there's a bit of a clue. This kind of looks like a 1 and your 2 zeros. So first of all, I want you to think about and try and make a list of how many things in everyday life do you see that use percentages. Have a go, write them down and send them to our email address. As we know that percentage means per 100, when we're thinking about fractions, our denominator to turn it into a percentage must always be 100. 100% is your whole, so it is out of 100 or per 100. So let's say somebody got 10 out of 100 on their test. As a percentage, this is, so it's 10 out of 100, 10%. We can apply this to lots and lots of numbers. Any number, fraction out of 100. So for example, 25 hundredths as a percentage is 25%. Okay, time to pause the video and I want you to have a go at turning these fractions into percentages. So 4 hundredths, 60 hundredths, 51 hundredths and 23 hundredths. So these should have been nice and easy because all of our denominators are out of 100 already. So we should have 4%, 60%, 51% and 23%. Thinking about our prior learning, we can also turn from our percentage to a fraction and even a decimal. So for 73%, we know that that means that there was 73 out of 100, 73 per 100. So there's our fraction. Now as a decimal, we can write that it's already as hundredths for us. So we know there's no holes. One hole will be 100% and 100 hundredths. So there's no holes. Point. Now 70 hundredths is the same as 7 tenths. And then we've got 3 hundredths left. So your decimal is 0.73. Okay, time for you to pause the video. I want you to turn these percentages into a fraction and then into a decimal. Okay, we have practiced this. So the first step, we're going to turn it into a fraction. 80% as a fraction, well there's 80 out of 100. So 80 hundredths is our fraction. And now I want to turn this into a decimal. Now I've either got 80 hundredths or I can simplify this to make it easier into 8 tenths. I've divided the numerator and the denominator by 10 and that makes it much easier to turn it into a decimal because I know that this is my tenths column and I've got 8 of them. So we should have 80% is the same as 80 hundredths, which is the same as 8 tenths or 0.8. The next one, 52%. So as a fraction, that's 52 out of 100. And now as a decimal, so let's think 50 hundredths is the same as 5 tenths, and then we've got 2 hundredths left, so 0.52. Then the last one, 6%, so that's the same as 6 out of 100, 6 hundredths. Then as a decimal, be careful, so you've got no units, no whole numbers, we've got no tenths, but we've got 6 hundredths. So remember that's our hundredths column. So it should be 0.06. We're now going to make it a bit trickier by thinking about how we turn these fractions into percentages. Now they're a little bit trickier because our denominator isn't already hundredths. So we need to create some equivalent fractions. Now hopefully this first one, we can go straight from 50ths to hundredths. We've times the denominator by 2. So remember, to make equivalent fractions, we do the same to our numerator, which gives me 40 hundredths. Now I've got a fraction out of 100, I know that that's 40 per 100, which is 40%. Okay? Now the next one, I've got 4/5. So you can do it two different ways. You can either go straight to hundredths, but if you can't see that, we know we can go to tenths first, so times by 2, so 8/10, and then go to hundredths. So 8/10 is the same as 80 hundredths, and then that as a percentage is 80%. Now you might have seen that you could have gone straight from 5 to 100 by timesing by 20, and you could do the same to the numerator as well. Doesn't matter how you get there, but as long as you've got a fraction out of 100 to turn it into your percentage. Okay, time for you to pause the video. Here are your fractions. So you've got 9 hundredths, 6 20ths and 4 25ths. I want you to have a go at turning them into percentages, and then if you can, see if you can do them into a decimal as well. Okay, so the first one is nice and easy. It's already out of hundredths for me. So I can go straight to 9% because it's already out of hundredths. And I also can think about it as a decimal, 0.0, no tenths, 9 hundredths, so 0.09. Okay, now the next one, 6 20ths. So first of all, I want my denominator to be hundredths. So let's make an equivalent fraction. 20 times by what gives me 100? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 5. Do the same to our numerator. 6 times 5 gives us 30. So now I've got 30 hundredths. I can now write that as a percentage, which is 30%. I can also think about a decimal. So 30 hundredths, I can simplify into 3/10. So this is 0.3. And the last one, we've got 4 25ths. So the same as before, I want my denominator to be hundredths. How many 25s are in 100? So I've times it by 4. The same to our numerator, that gives me 16 hundredths. So as a percentage, that's 16%. Now as a decimal, I've got no holes. 10 hundredths is the same as 1/10, and then I've got 6 hundredths left, 0.16. Well done if you got all of those correct. That's it for today. Hopefully you've noticed that we're starting to bring together and consolidate all of the work that we've done on fractions, decimals, and now introducing the idea of percentages. Now today your task is on Mymaths, and you're going to have to do exactly that. So it's going to ask for fractions, decimals and percentages. If you're stuck on any of those things, then please email the email address or post on the class blog. It's really important because tomorrow I will not be doing you a video, but I'll be setting you again on Mymaths. It's a bit of a quiz on everything fractions, decimals and percentages. So you can go back and watch any of the videos over the last couple of the weeks, or please email the email address if you think that you need a little bit more help before we do that quiz. Okay, good luck, and here comes today's challenge.